Every year, countless legendary heroes are summoned to magical fantasy worlds. Most wield holy swords, or master devastating fire magic. This chosen one asked a much more important question.
Does anyone in this kingdom know what sugar is? I had been here for exactly 7 days. In that time, I realized a horrifying truth. There was no sugar anywhere. Every meal was boiled roots and unseasoned despair. Everything they ate was pale and bland and absolutely disgusting.
The hero was gifted divine powers and a legendary sword of destiny. But you cannot eat a legendary sword.
Look, I am not saying the Demon Lord was not a problem. I am saying the Demon Lord was a problem I could solve later. Right now, my biggest enemy was culinary depression. I needed to find something sweet before I lost my mind. This world has crops and water and fire, every single ingredient needed for carbonated beverages, yet nobody here has ever had a cold, bubbly drink.
He packed his legendary gear and went looking for a fermentation barrel.
First, I needed to check the sugar content of local forest honey. Survival rule number 1. Boiling water is not optional. The local villagers thought I was performing a strange fire ritual. I was just trying to avoid dying on day 2.
The hero discovered the village water supply was completely filthy. He boiled it. The village elder called it dark witchcraft. 3 sick people were completely cured by morning.
When you boil water, you kill the microscopic organisms inside it. Bacteria and parasites and whatever medieval nightmare is swimming around in there. Clean water is literally the first cheat code of civilization.
With the village water secured, the hero turned to sweet ingredients. Deep in the southern swamps, wild sugarcane grew completely untouched. Violent level 50 monsters guarded the swamp.
So I hired a legendary hunter named Kalen. He thought we were going to slay a swamp dragon. I handed him a rusty machete and told him to cut grass. He looked at me with absolute confusion, but I was paying him in gold coins. So the great dragon slayer became my head sugarcane harvester. Survival rule number 2. Fermentation is not magic. It is just microscopic yeast eating sugar and burping gas. The royal alchemists spent decades trying to create bubbling potions.
The hero mixed wild yeast, honey, and clean water in a clay pot. He sealed the lid but left a tiny escape vent plugged with wax. Without a pressure relief system, active yeast will turn a clay jar into a bomb. The carbon dioxide dissolves directly into the water under gentle pressure.
I let it ferment for several days in a dark cellar. When I cracked the wax seal, it let out a massive hiss. A thick white foam rushed out of the jug. The villagers screamed, thinking it was a gaseous demon. I took a sip of the cold, bubbly drink and smiled.
The royal alchemists tried to replicate this bubbling potion. They assumed it required a holy spell. It only required patience, honey, and a tight cork. By week 2, the hero reverse-engineered a ginger beer. He called it the original ginger. He charged 3 copper coins a cup, and that is where the monopoly began.
The tavern owners wanted exclusive rights. Merchant guilds wanted distribution contracts. I accidentally created brand loyalty in a medieval world. To scale up, I needed consistent packaging. Clay jugs leak carbon dioxide over time. I needed glass bottles. Survival rule number 3. Sand is worth more than gold if you heat it. The local blacksmiths only knew how to hammer iron. I showed them how to build a high-temperature sand furnace.
He mixed river sand, soda ash, and limestone. He taught them glass-blowing techniques originating from ancient Rome. After weeks of failed experiments in shattered glass, they produced sealed bottles. He hired a young local girl to paint the labels.
Her name was Lyra, and she had beautiful handwriting. I gave her a 15% equity stake. The merchants laughed at me for giving a child equity. Today, Lyra is the richest merchant queen in the north. Never underestimate the value of nice handwriting.
The beverage empire expanded rapidly. Bubbling soda bottles were shipped across 3 kingdoms. But massive success attracts dangerous attention. The Demon Lord of the Dark Territories marched his army to the border. He did not want to conquer the land. He wanted the secret recipe for the bubbling drink.
The king panicked and told me to draw my legendary sword. The physics of carbonation is simple. Cold water holds carbon dioxide gas much better than warm water. If the soda is warm, the gas escapes instantly and goes flat. I told the king to calm down and fetch some ice. I rode out to the border alone with a wooden crate of soda. The Demon Lord was 10 feet tall and radiated absolute terror. I handed him a cold glass bottle. He popped the cap and drank it in one massive gulp. He coughed violently as the carbonation fizzed in his throat. His eyes widened in shock. He let out a satisfied burp that shook the forest. But a medieval world does not have modern artificial sweeteners. So I harvested stevia, a sweet native leaf, with 0 calories. We negotiated a contract on the grass. He got an exclusive supply of sugar-free stevia-sweetened ginger soda. I got a total trade monopoly across all demon territories. No combat, no blood, just distribution logistics.
The prophecy foretold a hero who would bring peace to the land. It did not mention bottling contracts or shelf placement strategy, but the results spoke for themselves.
Survival rule number 4. You do not have to be the strongest warrior. You just have to sell something everyone wants before anyone else. The other heroes are still grinding levels in dark dungeons. I am sitting in a palace built on carbonation and supply chain efficiency. Same outcome, but far fewer injuries. I think I might build a postal system next. But first, let me enjoy this cold drink.
He had been in this world for 3 months. He never once fought the Demon Lord personally. But his soda was in every tavern from here to the Dark Kingdom. And honestly, that tracks.